Hello and welcome, it's me, LinkingX2, and welcome back at Worlds. Continuing with today's final series between Peace and Red Candice for the last chance to face C9. Before we get into this though, this guy here is now awake for 35 hours. You might see it somewhere, I don't know. Just to bring you all some daily league content. So if you like it or have some advice, let me know and show it down below. I would be really grateful for your support. So yeah, thanks. But with that out of the way, let's get into the first game. In the first one here we see Rumble and Jungle Jarvan. Peace seemingly have some interesting picks. On the other side, Grevar's Kled mid counter pick also has the spice to match that. Both comps spike in the mid game and have some good skirmishing power, so that will be quite interesting to see them face off with their item power spikes. Bot lane action is the start of the game, with kills going in each side's favor after fight. It looks quite good for Red, but then you look at the rest of the map where Peace has the favor in the top side as well. Grouping around mid lane, Titan can make use of his gold even better, poised to be the man for Red in this series, seeking to mimic the man of the previous match, Doggo. My, what a game this first one was. More kills than minutes, very bloodthirsty, a lot of action, 100% what we expected of this one here. With most kills landing on Titan, he, at least in game number 1, takes it on his back and gets the Brazilians their second win at Worlds and leads the series with 1-0. Also obviously gets the MVP here with his Ezreal. Coming into game number 2, Jarvan top this time, so yeah, we see a nice flex here with the pick, but the matchup versus Cannon is kinda meh. Admittedly, also long time no see, RGE pops up here and there in solo queue with a new build now with Hextech Protobot. Again, Titan gets Ezreal and we see Kled in the mid lane versus Sylas as well. Draft not changing up too much, makes a bit of sense, as it seemed both teams liked what they had before. Early game again explosive, with kills in the bot lane and Tally also punishing an invade. Peace sets themselves up with a 2k lead for a while, snowballing this further with better macro and getting huge value through Herald for example, and also winning fights. Peace looks to be online in game number 2. And the Jarvan, after Bobbit ran down a bit in game number 1, the Judgy makes it work, and he makes it work wonders, popping off with massive ults. Even though the opposing team is quite mobile, he finds the key moments to show off. Also showing off is Tally with a huge mid div in this one. If you saw the clutch plays he was able to make and how he appeared like a brand new and fresh player in this one, he grabs the MVP with his Sylas and equalizes the series for Peace. Game number 3, Red looks again very cool. They're on top, Zyra Khan bot, some things we haven't seen in a while. But who cares, to be honest. We see Poppy, a pick somewhere seen in solo queue, sometimes even banned here in play-ins, but now finally picked, and picked by the OG Poppy player, Judgy. He actually gets his hands on her. They also flex Aatrox into the mid lane, which into Sylas is quite a fun matchup as well. With that in mind, Peace also starts the game out quite well, Bobbit capitalizing on top lane aggression, and Violet and Aladoric winning the 2v2. They get a plus 2k gold lead in 10 minutes, extending that lead through the mid game to 4k. Peace is in a great spot, but Red is holding out into the game, securing Drakes and farming up nicely. Becoming a bit over eager though, Red over aggresses and gets smashed in the river, resulting in an ace and Baron for Peace. With 11k gold lead, Baron and everything else they need, Peace goes to the distance and finishes the game for a 2-1 score. For MVP it's hard to say. Violet and Tally and even Babib's early game were overall quite great. I'd give it to Violet. While he had help from his mates as well, he still came out on top with a good score, good damage, and without getting picked apart by Red's dive. In game 4, Peace with some long range top champions, but also having Yone and Lucian as well. So they do want to go in some cases. Overall quite strange comp, and we have to give the edge here in draft to Red, absolutely, as they draft an overall quite aggressive pick here, with also having a better top jungle duo for the 2v2s, and their bot lane is also quite strong as well, further underlining the draft advantage Red got here. And from the early game on, it's quite messy for Peace. They seemingly forgot that gold XP resets after the game, as they play as if they are still super fat like they were in the last one, resulting in them getting punished early, and with the power div in the top side, this is easily exploited by Red. The snowball rolls and rolls to top and mid, and the OCE gets crushed under the Brazilian Fiesta. Red overall looks reinvigorated, and INNS has an insane game with Lee Sin. As you may know, I don't value too much who is fed late game and pops off in one team fight. I value more so the one who set that up and carried them in the early game and mid game. And here in this one, INNS actually did both. Carried early and set his team up with topside dives and topside ganks. And then also in the late game, well, actually there was no late game, but in the end of the game he also performed well in the final fights. Reaching a 2-2 score, we actually get another game 5 today. And in the draft, Red with Akali, Camille, some great mobile skirmishers. On the other side, Peace with reliable MF and Sylas. And they added Renekton Nidalee. As an LCK watcher, I know exactly what's going to happen. And well, Peace does start this game with fire in their veins after they got smashed on the last game. And damn, the top side of Peace is just going in. 6-1 in kills after just 7 minutes. 3k gold lead, what a one-sided start to the game, and well, it continues just like that. 3-13 in 18 minutes, 11k gold, bot inhib pre-20 minutes. If game 4 was one-sided, this game was a bot game. Poor Brazilian fans, poor Red Candace, they got just slaughtered in this one. One of the most one-sided games in a long while. Understandably, it also shows a problem with playing teams every year. In their regions, they dominate through individual skill, but once they're matched, or outdone in some cases, and they should fall behind, they're not familiar with this game state, and they often make quite grave errors which cause them to get completely dumpstered in these macro decisions and late game fights. It has been a problem over the years, but we see it this time even more extreme. MVP for the final game, I was thinking between Babib and Tally. Babib still hasn't gotten MVP for today, but in the end Tally really stood out to me and edges over his jungler. Not only does he get the MVP for the final game, but also the MVP of the series, as it started really rough for him, but he continued to improve game after game and ended up doing super well in lane and even more so in the teamfights with his Sylas, diving, demolishing. It looked really good. Obviously helps if you get fed, but he got fed on his own with his good map play, so can't fault him for that. Thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're at it, what's your prediction for the C9 vs P series? Will NA fly home or will Perkz push through? Who knows? Turn into the next one to figure that one out in the final lane games. See you then, have a good one.